Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Whether News Happens or Not show. Now, in the last episode, we reacted to some more Cougar, and we also talked about horror movies a lot of our favorite ones.
Halloween episode.
Yeah, it was a Halloween episode. We also got called dumb.
Yep.
We looked very dumb for some reason. Probably because we had helmets on.
That's right.
It was for Halloween. But today's episode is going to be a lot different. We have got a special guest today, and we've got Dawson's dad, David. Yeah, he's here. Yeah, David's been on the channel a couple times. He was on the Highlanders film as the king himself, and he's also worked with us on several other different films, such as The Foreigner, which we never finished, but the footage for that's on.
The footage is on there.
Yeah, the footage is on there. But he is wanted to be on the show, and we're glad to have him here today.
Shoot, thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, as a minister, that's probably the most important thing that I do in my life, and I enjoy that above all other. Lineman for the power company. Been doing that for a long time, and of course, me and all the kids love to ride dirt bikes, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. We don't get into
And you're
all
Dawson's dad.
Yeah, and I'm proud of that. Very proud.
Dawson's dad. So we got David on the show here today because we're just gonna learn more about you, basically. And we were talking about it earlier. That we were talking about a lot about movies earlier, and one of David's favorite genres of movies is westerns. If you go into their house, they have a whole entire just cabinet full of western movies. Talk about, do you have any favorites that you have?
Yeah, I've got some that it would be like really close to me in my heart as far as my favorites. Shane with Alan Ladd. That was one of my favorites growing up. It is a beautiful western that was done at the foothills of the Grand Tetons in Wyoming. So I mean, it's just the scenery in that movie is incredible. McClintock with John Wayne.
Oh yeah,
I love McClintock, and El Dorado with John Wayne. McClintock is great. El Dorado's good. Probably Rio Bravo is one of my all-time favorites because of the cast with Dean Martin, John Wayne, Ward Bond, Ricky Nelson. There were just some great actors in that movie, and it was just an incredible film. But yeah, I love the westerns.
Yeah, I know that you brought Dawson up on the westerns as well.
Yeah.
Dawson, do you have any favorite ones? I know you've taken inspiration on some of them with the films that we've done.
The two that I've always loved will always be Rio Bravo and Tombstone.
Yeah. Yeah, we went to Pigeon Forge at one time, and you bought that Tombstone picture. Yeah, with
all their signatures.
With all their signatures on it. Yeah, I remember that. We've done a couple of western films. Home, Revenge, and Deception. There's a pattern. We have one word on all of them. But if y'all haven't, go watch Deception, which is the newest one that we did. That was a lot of fun to make.
I liked it.
I know we talked about reacting to it at some point and giving a little bit of some behind the scenes to that. And we did talk about it some, I think, on the last couple episodes that we did.
Yeah.
But you said that you are a minister. Tell everybody how you got into that.
Well, that's a very unusual situation because I was just asked when I never thought I would ever do that.
Yeah.
And I got a call. One of the guys at a church had asked me if I'd come speak, and I said, well, I've never really done that before. Well, they said it's okay. And so I went and spoke, and it just kind of like really sparked the fire in me, and that's what I feel like is the most important. All this stuff in this world will pass away, but God's word will not pass away. It's one thing that'll be here forever. So I just think that that's the most important part. And for a lot of people that has the unbelief of God, there's so many things that I'd have to challenge someone to go through and look at all the reasoning why we believe the way that we do, and then you would understand that there's no way that there is not a God.
Yeah, if you didn't know watching the show, we are Christians here. But it's hard, especially in the world nowadays, to kind of not see why God doesn't exist.
Exactly.
So you've probably had a lot of good experiences ministering.
Yeah.
With a lot of people. Reminds me of my grandpa, as he's got 70 years of being a pastor. But is there any stories that you have that like you would want to share?
Specifically, probably one of the greatest parts of doing that type of work, evangelism, of anything like that. I love speaking at church, and there's always great experiences at church, but because of speaking and being a minister for 10 years, I was a director at a church camp also.
Yeah.
And getting to work with the kids and watching the kids grow up, and we actually ended up from one of the, she was real young then, but she'd fell in love with my wife, and we ended up adopting, a little girl from that, JJ. And love her to death. She's just part of the family.
Yeah.
No one knows any different. And so the camp was always like one of the greatest experiences. I remember one camp session that we had. There's 136 kids, I think, at that camp session. And we had like 26 baptisms.
Oh, wow.
And had quite a few that had come forward and wanting prayers and to grow in strength and everything. So it was an incredible week. But the weeks, kids are more passionate than adults in so many ways, so it makes life more fun.
Yeah, it definitely helps when you have back in, I know when my grandpa was around, that was like the big, all the kids, it was always a thing to go to church, and that's he started when he was 11 or 12, or 13, I think it was when he was preaching and stuff. And back then, it's a big thing. It's not as a big thing now. It should be, but it's not. And it's hard to, get kids to go now. And that's made it a big different thing, especially with what's going on in the world now. But it's very different. We just had our presidential election, which has been a huge thing, not even just now, but for the last several months. You got any comments on that, Dawson?
I think it's funny.
Yeah, I think your face says it all. Your face.
I think it's pretty incredible on that part that they had so many that were cheering in response to the election and him winning, and they had parades and people cheering in Poland, and China, and Japan, and just all over the world.
Yeah.
So it made a difference, definitely, in the fact of how the change was in going from one type of leadership into this new leadership that we've got, that it's just now incredible.
Yeah, and I saw this the other day where Hamas is wanting to end the war already, and China's already wanting to cooperate in Russia, and it really is insane, I think, to me, because people were like, oh no, he's going to ruin everything, and then you got all these countries and all the Hamas and everything trying to end it all in less than like 24 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is just, I think it just says a lot to
for
that.
the past 4 years, every other country in the world just saw America as really weak.
Yeah, well, we know why.
Yeah.
And we were very weak. So, I mean,
who knows? It's America's a very interesting place.
It is.
Very interesting place.
But a land of the free. I mean, there's no way that you could do what we're doing right now in China. You couldn't do this in North Korea. There's places in the world that, you would be thrown into prison. So and the freedom of speech.
Well, and Kamala Harris and all of them, if she got in, then that would basically be happening now. We wouldn't be here now.
Well, trying to silence anybody's speech, I mean, we've seen it over the past 4 years, in 5, 6, 7. The first time he was in office and on up through was him censoring everything that you posted on TikTok, Facebook,
You've
Instagram.
got experience with that, I know.
Yeah,
that.
I got kicked off many times, and it would just be literally repeating a truthful, documented statement, and they would delete it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And I know y'all's church does live streams.
we do.
Yeah, just you could give a little information about that if people want to check that out.
Macedonia Church of Christ, and my daughter actually is the one that does that.
Yeah.
But it's Macedonia Church of Christ in Blue Ridge, and it does show up, and that has been an incredible thing. Since she started doing it, we've had quite a few people that has come to church. There are people that are coming up to vacation and visit, and they
wow.
have seen the videos and decided to come to church there. So
It's crazy, especially with like the reach with social media
Oh, yeah.
and stuff. I think it's crazy. For example, for me and Dawson reacting to the Common Rider stuff, we've got people from like other countries, like commenting, especially our number one hater, and you got a lot of these different people like commenting from who knows where. And it's just I find it kind of weird. It's a weird feeling because you're so used to being in your own space and everybody knows everybody, and then you go on social media and everything, and now everybody from everywhere else can see it.
yeah, and it's one of the things that I don't think would have ever been seen and been heard about was a girl in Texas that had called in on some people in New York, and you just think of the distance and why and how that all come about, and then they come and raid a house over a squirrel and a raccoon.
Oh yeah.
So I mean that's like the huge sensation right now, and I'm with a squirrel and a raccoon. I mean that's the difference in the kind of world that we were living in. Hopefully that we'll be coming out of.
Yeah.
That kind of tyranny.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's a lot of craziness. That's all I can really say about that. Me and Dawson have talked about it a couple times off camera.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. Dawson, you got any? Do you want to ask anything to your dad, so the people will know?
I mean, you've asked a pretty good amount of questions. I mean, I know him. So
You do know him, but for people to know him,
I don't know.
I know you
It's funny that
did
you did.
stuff like of filming stuff on Facebook by yourself. You did that for a while, but what were you gonna say?
I was going to go off like how you're talking about. It's weird to think about how, like, social media and, like, the internet and stuff it does bring a broad spectrum to people that you never talked to before.
Yeah.
I think a big...
You have some experience with that too.
yeah. Excuse me. I think the biggest thing is also it goes to your targeted audience with things. So, like, with that, we started doing Common Rider, so there was definitely a targeted audience that started following us, that people that have never seen us before that now started seeing us. Same thing with the Facebook thing. There's a targeted audience with that, and there's some that don't even look at it, and there's a lot of... this is stuff I found out within the past, like, month, because the fact of within the past month and a half, I hit a new target audience on TikTok.
Yeah.
And that I've come to meet.
I've been seeing it everywhere now since
it's insane.
I know, yeah.
And it's I've met a lot more people than I've heard of these people, but I've met more of the more famous side of things on TikTok.
Yeah.
I've talked to more of the famous people and stuff like that. It's weird how, like you said, you can go to a more like different audience and more maybe change up something, and then it'll kind of explode with you being able to see or meet different things from all across the world because of the fact of how nation and worldwide social media is
How
now.
far it goes out, yeah.
But
I remember
it's
telling
weird.
you about going on TikTok and showing your costume stuff, and I never thought it would get 100,000 followers. Like, I thought that was crazy, because I didn't know that cosplaying was a thing until you did it.
Well, it was very small. There was a very small group of people before TikTok.
Yeah.
And we were always the ones that got made fun of.
Yeah.
And now it's like the cool thing to do now.
But technically you were doing that in films before.
Yeah,
I mean, we
that's the
have
thing.
been doing that in videos before.
And that's the thing. It's like we've done it a long time. And like, I've done it for a long time. But like we were always the ones that got made fun of or got told nerds.
Yeah.
But now with social media, it's like kind of the cool thing now. So you got all these different people that just will buy something or do this other stuff to dress up to get views, but they're not actually.
They're just doing it.
Yeah, they're just doing it to get views. They're not actually into
Mm-hmm.
it, and that's because it's the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Now. But it's funny, like 5 or 6 years ago, before that, they were the type of people that were making fun of us for doing it. So.
Yeah. We had a lot of people making fun of us for stuff like that. We went to the Ren Fair. If y'all saw that episode, me, Dawson, Alyssa, and Caitlin went, and Dawson bought a kilt, and you and your dad
the sash,
but y'all have kilts. I was going into that with y'all's heritage. Just talk a little bit about that.
Well, we have and I've raised the kids very much into everything. Whatever they wanted to go into, whatever suited them, because I rode in the rodeo for quite a few years. For several years, I had, I spent a lot of time rock climbing, and I spent a lot of time doing a lot of activities that I would drag the kids into at times they didn't really want to be involved in. Dawson really wasn't the craziest about riding motorcycles, but he loved, the rock climbing and rappelling stuff, and he even got into that much later on. That was just his thing, and they all had something different. The fishing, and some would go into hunting. I've tried to raise the kids to where they could go into several different avenues of things that would be involved. So with him and what he does with this and you, I'm very much encouraging for y'all. I encourage my other kids in whatever they decide to do. And I think that's part of the heritage side of it. You can be... So we can go back, and I've got a heritage that went back, to, of course, the German heritage, and Scottish, and Irish, and English, Welsh, and American Indian. And so you can get into all these genres of the different heritage parts, and I know, that is such a big part is the kilt with the Scottish.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have a tremendous amount of the German heritage. And at Christmas time, it gets huge at the house. And my wife, of course, she is German. And she's half German, half Irish. So we see a lot. The two biggest holidays for us is Christmas and St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot that we put into those two holidays. And we enjoy them. We just have fun with them. A lot of the world would sit back and say, those are all pagan holidays. Well, just have fun with it and go on, just relax. We're not trying to, summon demons or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just, we're just, trying to have fun as a family. And our heritage is very important, And I think it should be important in everybody's life.
Yeah.
No matter where they come from, no matter where their heritage is from. I think they should be proud of their heritage and where they come from. Like I said, a big part of my heritage, the major part of my DNA would be German. For a lot of people would be ashamed of that. I'm not ashamed of it. I think they were very brilliant people, and they are, even though my granddaddy went and fought in the war against them. But a lot of the people in Germany were against what Hitler had done.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize how many people were only there because they were scared for their families. They would have left. They would have gotten out of there if it wouldn't have been for fear of their family getting killed and taken. So, heritage is important. I don't care where it's from. I think everybody's. I done the Highland Games, and Dawson was there with me in that, caber toss and weight for distance and all that. And we actually work out with the same barbells and stuff and gym and things at the house. But a lot of it is based around really kind of old, ancient techniques. We don't do a whole lot of modern stuff. It's a lot of ancient stuff, so I'm really into that.
I know whenever I first came to Dawson's house when I think I was 15 or something like that, and I found out about all the heritage stuff. I thought it was interesting because I never met anyone that expressed it so much. Whenever we had the 4th of July party and we were throwing the trees and stuff.
Yeah, caber toss.
That was fun, but I wasn't like I had no idea until now I've been friends with him for over a decade now, and I understand it all. I've just found that interesting, and I know when Dawson we went to the Ren Fair and we looked through all that stuff. He's talked about it some. I don't know. You've talked about it with me off camera, but I don't know if you've ever explained it on the show before.
Explain what?
Like you talked about all the different when we were looking at all the kilts at the
the different
Fair?
the different houses.
Yeah, houses.
And
Yeah,
stuff like
that's
that.
what you were talking about.
Yours is the different name. The Stewart.
Ours
Yeah.
is the Stewart.
Plaid.
Yeah, that's what you're talking
McGregor plaid.
Royal Stewart. The kilt that Dad has is the bright red, which is the Royal Stewart. The one that I have is the Hunter Stewart, and that's the sash that I got with it too that day. But yeah, there's a lot of different houses and stuff, and of course at the Ren Fair they also have the thing that's right beside the kilt store now, which is really cool, is the encyclopedia of it all, and they have a book that's about this wide that's flipping over, and it deals with all the different houses through Scottish heritage and all the different where they were, where it comes from, what's their colors, what's their insignia, and it's pretty cool.
Because we went into that store and we saw so many, and I was just like, oh my gosh, there's so many.
I had to do research on it because there's some plaids that are very similar. The Royal Stewart one with the bright red, or not the bright red, but the black with the green, blue, and red in it. It's there's actually another one that's very similar to it, but instead of black, it's navy blue. And so, but yeah.
Yeah, I remember we walked in that store and I was just amazed that there's so many of them. I'm not a color person because I'm colorblind. I've probably mentioned that several times. But we've also we've also worked on some videos with David. We did a video with him 5 or 6 years ago about the end of the world. That got a lot of views. I know people can still watch that. It's on David's YouTube channel. Does any of that from that video still stand to you today?
Every bit of it. Yeah, it's the whole timeline that you can't get away from. You can't run from it. And I think this is the best way to describe it, is we're not on the same timeline as God. As in we read in the book of Peter, a day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is a day. So in God's eyes, it's only been 2 days, hasn't even been 2 days since his son died on the cross, which 2 days will be the year 2033. So when you look at a time, and a day is as 1,000 years, so it's not, our time's not the same as God's. When you look from the very beginning of time, man were walking on earth and using the creatures that God had given them, using them horses. They would use trees and hollow them out and make canoes, ways to move up and down through the water. That advanced, though, but it still stayed the same up until the 1800s. Everything stayed exactly the same. I mean, they farmed basically the same. They walked, they rode an animal, or they rode in a boat to travel wherever they was going to go, and that was it. And it stayed like that for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And then in Matthew chapter 24, Jesus says that that you'll see the end come when the abomination of desolation comes about. So when you go back into Daniel and you read about the abomination of desolation, what he says is that people will be going to and fro, knowledge will be increased. Well, you've never seen the things that has happened in the past 150 years ever through history. The knowledge has been increased, of course, by what we see around us with the computers and the phones. You've never seen that ever throughout history, that kind of knowledge. So then they'll say, well, look at the technology that they had back then in building the pyramids, the Aztec temples, the Mayan temples, the different things that they had, Göbekli Tepe, just an incredible, all these alignments that they had. So the alignment that's in North America here, and it's like a miniature Stonehenge. And when it lines with the summer solstice, just exactly right, it will cross through the center of that, go all the way across, and if you follow the line, it goes to the center of Stonehenge in England. So I think it's pretty amazing and incredible, some of the technology that they use. But let's go also back to the Bible on that part. So when we read about the giants, and to me that answers a lot of questions about the giants that were able to do this, but you think about this is an incredible part, I think, that a lot of people don't pick up or notice of.
Mm-hmm.
So just a question to you. How many craters, large craters, have you ever known of, have they found in the world, all over the world, large craters?
That's like for Earth, right?
Yes. The craters that they see on Earth, like, wow, this is a crater, how many have there been?
I can't even think of any off the top of my head.
So, from what they know, 195 to 200, they're guesstimating on some of them. But they know there's right at about 200. If you go to Google it, how many craters there are in the world, it'll say right about 200.
Yeah.
That they find large craters. So you imagine an angel created by God falling from the heavens to the earth. How many fallen angels were there? 200.
200, yeah.
It's just a pretty incredible thought.
Mm-hmm.
So the knowledge that these fallen angels had, they went with them as they were on this earth. They passed this knowledge out. And it's kind of like when everybody brings up the whole fact. And I've seen so many scientists on this and trying to debunk Christianity side of it. But, okay, there's this civilization over here in Mesopotamia, and you've got civilizations in Asia and South America, and all these civilizations have spoke about a great flood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we know from Noah and the great flood. But what happens after Noah and the great flood? So the earth replenishes with people, man, and the stories from before the flood.
Mm-hmm.
Man keeps increasing, more and more and more of them. When you get on up to about chapter 9 in Genesis, then you start reading about the Tower of Babel, what happens there. So all these people were trying to build this tower to God. They, of course, it displeased God. God tore the temple down, of course. And he split these people up and confused their tongue, their language, where they couldn't speak to each other, and they went their different ways. So now you've got the Asians, South Americans. You've got these people that were split from the time of the Tower of Babel. They had carried the stories that went with them to wherever part of the world they went to. So I believe with all my heart that, like, the ancient stories of Zeus, the ancient stories of all these gods calling, all these different places in the world, the ancient gods of Odin and Thor and all these people, what they were seeing and how this story come about, what they were seeing was they had seen fallen angels. And these stories just kept growing. Mm-hmm. But what they were originally looking at and what created them was the fallen angels. So that's where secular mythology, Christianity, and all this history kind of ties together. Everything kind of ties together. So there's a lot of things that we read throughout the Bible in the book of Isaiah and so many different parts of the Bible. Job speaks of it, about the large beasts that roam the earth. And when you look into, there's a temple in Cambodia, 3,000 years old, and you're looking at the temple wall and you're looking at the different parts that they have gotten carved out of animals, and you're looking at the first, well, that's a lion. Mm-hmm. I know that's a lion. I know what a lion is. The next one, oh, that's a stork. I know what a stork is. The next one's a stegosaurus. Well, how did they carve that out unless they seen it? So it goes completely against the comprehension of what mankind, scientists have, from the late 1800s with Darwin and all that. Man didn't walk the same time dinosaurs did. Well, yeah, we did. And there's evidence of that. Mm-hmm. Very much evidence of that all over the world. So how do you put all this stuff together? Well, it all comes together between, you take the secular history, you take the Christian history, and you can take mythology and you pile all that together, and you can figure out that there's a little bit of piece of truth in a little bit of everything. I think mythology come from the fallen angels. I think that's what these people were seeing in the Celtic mythology, the Greek mythology, Roman mythology, Asian mythology, from all these different mythologies around the world of South America. Just one really cool thing, though, that you got to think of that a fallen angel would do that no one else would do. that our God would not do.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the fallen angels. One of the greatest things that they would have done is have man kill God's creation for the fallen angel. So most of these, all of these, just about every mythological being and the people that worship them, they all wanted a blood sacrifice.
Mm.
The only one throughout history that didn't want the blood sacrifice was the Jews. God didn't want that.
Yeah.
He wanted a blood sacrifice from an animal, but not from a human. He was about to let Abraham take Isaac, but he gave him a way out. He wanted to see, the strength that Isaac had.
Mm-hmm.
So he sent him a goat, and so he had to sacrifice. But God never asked for that. So that's something else too that shows about how the evil of the fallen angels, the devil, the demons, and how they work in the world, how powerful they are.
You talking about all that makes me think of when we did The Hunter and I had to play the pastor character, which was a very interesting role to play. Where we used a lot of the aspects of what you're talking about with my parts, which, fun fact, was written mostly by Dawson.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Research.
all those.
Well, you were researching it, and then we wrote down stuff to say.
Well, I mean, all those scriptures that read different, like what people name as like monsters and mythological creatures. I mean, all those are in Scripture.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and I did read those in the film.
Yeah, so it's all in there.
Yeah, so
it's
so
all existed.
him saying that made me think of when we did that, and we talked about that, and we subtly referred to the Wendigo in a way that like stuff is out there.
Well, it's like when me and Dad had this conversation last week, but it's one of those things. It's like a lot of people can say, well, you can't really say that it exists because you can either say that there's no proof of it, or you can say, well, why aren't they existing nowadays? Well, first off, if you want to say it in that way, then why is monkeys not still evolving?
Yeah.
Say that people evolved from monkeys, well then why are monkeys not just turning into people?
Yeah, they
Nowadays,
look closely alike.
I mean,
humans.
There's that, but at the same time, also, so for thousands of years, the one thing that humans were always good at was killing stuff.
Yeah.
And that was the whole, not even just that, but species die off every single year.
And not by man either.
No, so it just naturally dies off. And then, of course, you have the other aspect where man does extinct species. So, I mean, for thousands of years, things die off. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those things. And it's like the same thing as like with the woolly mammoth. A lot of people didn't think that the woolly mammoth existed until they found one frozen in a block of ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
just watch Power Rangers. It's real.
Yeah.
it's a real animal. It's in Power Rangers. Going into another thing I wanted to touch on was you said that you've been you're a lineman.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
I've been working for the company that I work for 37 years.
And Dawson's also a lineman too. We've talked about that on the show, and we've rarely talked about his wonderful experiences as a lineman. But David's probably got a lot.
Yeah,
A lot of experiences. It's funny because y'all have. I can't even say nothing compared to what y'all have probably experienced because I have to film the football games, and that's a lot of stuff compared to y'all's having stuff explode in your face all the time, or most of the time.
It's fun times.
Yeah, but we filmed that end of the world video at where you work at.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. We filmed that there. We've talked about wanting to film there more for the what film was it you were talking about?
The last film that we talked about filming there was the Daenerys film.
Okay, yeah, because I was trying to think if I knew it was some like meeting scene-ish thing.
Dad was supposed to be a part of that too.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the main head honcho of Daenerys. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, the big boy. But Yeah, so we're just chilling here with David.
Yeah,
Having a great time. Having a great time. Hopefully y'all learned a lot of stuff today. Hope you're writing down stuff because he gave you a lot. And a lot, but is there anything you'd like to say to anybody out there before we go to a break here, David?
Just the fact of how it is important. The most important thing that we have is to have our relationship with God, because as you can see, nothing here on this earth lasts forever.
Mm-hmm.
And just make sure that you're right with God. There's a lot of things that you can do here and have fun. Just like what y'all are doing right now, and there's nothing wrong with doing this. There's nothing wrong with having fun and having a good time. But something has to be above everything else, and that's God.
Yeah.
And to put things into perspective in your life, that you can put those things into perspective.
Where can people reach you at if they want to ask you any questions or anything?
Do you want to give my phone number? I will.
You can, if whatever you want to do.
706-889-7626.
And if you have any questions about what David has talked about on this episode today, there's his number. Call him, text him, do whatever you want with it. Actually, don't, because who knows nowadays what might happen when you give out a number like that. I know Sherry does that on her show a lot, and it's a normal thing on TV. I feel like sometimes it is, but if it's a business thing, then it works. But
also follow us Facebook.
Yes, Facebook. Yeah, you can follow him on Facebook. You can follow the Macedonia Facebook page, so you can watch the church services if you'd like. But right now, we thank David for being on the show today.
Thank you.
We'll have him in the future more.
Yeah.
And it'll be another learning experience for everyone.
Thank you.
And all of us. You're welcome.
It's a blessing.
It's been a fun time. It's been a fun time. But we're going to throw it now to one of the newer... I sent this to Dawson the other day. I've been making music videos for our characters. And I made a music video for Dawson's character, Arrow, for the Arrow trilogy, called Sharpened Arrow. And here it is. We'll be right back.
In the shadows, he waits on high, a hooded figure with an eagle eye. No mercy for the wicked who try to take a city, they will die. With every shot, he's sharp as steel. His vengeance is the only thing he feels. Silent hunts of justice on the rise. He never misses, he's the arrow in the sky. Born in fire, trained in pain. His soul is scarred, but still he reigns. A vigilante with a score to keep. His bow is strong, he never sleeps. Born in fire, trained in pain. His soul is scarred, but still he reigns. A vigilante with a score to keep. His bow is strong, he never sleeps. He's the arrow breaking through the night. With a bow of thunder, ready to fight. No escape from the hunter's flame. You can't run, you can't out-aim. He's the arrow, justice in disguise. With sharpened arrows and a killer's eyes. Once a man with a billionaire life, now he's forged in battle board of strife. On the rooftops where the shadows play, the emerald archer's here to stay. Enemies tremble, hearts beat fast when they see that shadow move at last. With every blow, another soul is caught in the web of justice that can't be fought. Born in fire, trained in pain. His soul is scarred, but still he reigns. A vigilante with a score to keep. His bow is drawn, he never sleeps. He's the arrow breaking through the night. With a bow of thunder, ready to fight. No escape from the hunter's flame. You can't run, you can't out-aim. He's the arrow, justice in disguise. With sharpened arrows and a killer's eyes. No court, no law can hold him down. He takes the fight from the streets to the crown. With every step he rights the wrongs. A warpath made of blood and songs. He's a legend, but he walks alone. With a bow in hand, he makes his throne. He's the arrow breaking flame. You can't run, you can't aim. He's the arrow, justice in disguise, with sharpened arrows and a killer's eyes. He's the arrow breaking through the night, with a bow of thunder ready to fight. No escape from the hunter's flame. You cannot run, you can't aim. He's the arrow, justice in disguise, with sharpened arrows and a killer's eyes.
We're back. Hope y'all enjoyed the Sharpened Arrow music video that I made not too long ago of Dawson's character Arrow. It also features Julien, and it also features Chris and myself in it. I've got a couple more music videos that I'll share here on the show, such as Red Hood and Jack Gilmore, and I might be making more in the future. I've made a couple of trailers for our films, which I'll share those on the next episodes as we move in to Christmas. It's almost Christmas time.
Christmas time.
And then you won't see this anymore until next year.
Yep.
Once we get a tree working. Once we get into December, I'm gonna move this.
Yeah.
We're gonna move it, and
We've got trees.
we've got two back here. We'll have to use one of them. We're gonna use one of them, and then we'll move the entire set, and we'll have a tree as a background. But hopefully, y'all liked our little segment with Dawson's dad, David. Hope you all learned some things. That was really the first time genuinely us interviewing somebody, because when we had Ian on the show, it was just us with Ian.
Yeah.
Because we filmed with him for such a long time. And then when Caitlin was on the show, it was the same thing, and back in 2020. And then when we had Lachelle, that one was sort of just a talking thing. And then this one was really like an interview in a way. But hopefully y'all enjoyed that. And if you want to be on the show, let us know. We can arrange something. Yeah, we like to talk to people sometimes if we respect them enough. If we respect them enough. For this last little segment here on the show, it is not going to be Conrad Akuga. I'm sorry. We'll do that in the next episode, because we planned on doing this episode with Dawson's dad, and we didn't decide to do it in Kuga. But Kuga will be in the next one, so look out for that, because y'all voted for that, and it crushed it again. Nobody still doesn't want to watch Ultraman.
Oh, well.
I don't understand.
What are y'all going to do when Cougar's over?
They're going to be like, Agato. Yeah. But who knows? We might say, screw it. We'll figure out what we want to watch next. You know,
We'll spin a wheel.
We'll spin a wheel. Screw the audience. We're gonna spin a wheel. We're gonna get a physical freaking wheel, the wheel of Weather News Hammers and I, and we're gonna spin it. Now, we used to do that in Good Afternoon LJ, and that was awful. I remember that. I don't know.
I remember that.
We were literally stealing from Rhett and Link in every aspect.
Good afternoon.
But yeah, Good Afternoon LJ, guys. Totally not a ripoff of.
We were actually just talking about that.
We did. We've talked. I don't know if we've talked about it on here. That this show is a sequel to that show.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, we have more episodes than you think, because we did about a dozen or so Good Afternoon LJ episodes.
Yeah.
Back from 2015 to 2019, and those technically would count as a season of the show, because we did Dawson walking around town in a Stormtrooper outfit. We did Spider-Man in a drive-thru.
Yep.
If y'all want us to do that again, we haven't done that in such a long time.
Yeah,
but that was very fun. Or anything like that. We did segments like that. We talked about our videos a lot on it. We did Q&A, which I know we've talked about wanting to do that again, because it's been 5 years since we've done a Q&A. And maybe some things have changed. Who knows?
You never know.
But for this last little segment here, we talked about it in the segment with David that we did the film Deception, our Western film, and we talked about reacting to it and, just kind of talking about behind the scenes and talking about a little bit of things about the film. So we're going to react to it right now, which will be the first time ever that we've reacted to a recent film.
Yeah.
So we might do this a lot more. We used to do this a lot, and this is the first time we've done it since the beginning of the year because we reacted to Home.
Yeah.
So
Another Western.
we might be getting back into our regularly scheduled programming that we used to do here on the show, which includes gaming. Fun stuff. I know how desperately we've wanted to do a scary game on here so bad.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
And we
We'll
will
set up the projector.
Yeah, we will shut the lights off and everything. We're going to spook ourselves.
There's actually a game that JJ got me into playing. It's on the PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Paranoia.
I think you've talked about it before.
I played it with JJ the other day. Dude. The whole purpose of the game is you're ghost hunters.
Yeah.
And you've got to, actually use equipment. And you've got to, actually hunt a ghost in a house. Or, try and find it. And you're supposed to, determine, what kind of ghost it is and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you've got an assortment of things that you can use. And you actually have to use the equipment. And, like if it was real kind of ordeal. And doing it. And it's freaky.
I remember you talking about it to me off camera, and
you can have more than one, couple people in there. So maybe one day me, you, and her can play and just
that would be hilarious. Look out for that episode in the future. That'd be something.
Yeah.
We might get JJ on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can do a little interview with her.
And I was thinking about this earlier, but he was talking, and then it kind of went away, and then it came back.
That's
again.
how my brain was like.
And then my thought went away, and then it came back. But Dad did bring up JJ, and JJ was actually, she's been on the channel before.
Yeah.
She's
what's funny is I was going to bring that up too.
Yeah,
but I forgot.
she played a character in the Halo trailer.
That she did.
That we did.
Yep. She also worked on The Foreigner.
Yep, she did work on The Foreigner. She helped. She was in the behind the scenes.
Yep.
And she's also her pictures on a bunch of films.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, she's been missing in the Bigfoot film. She's also been kidnapped in interrogation.
And then she died in the no, we didn't show her their face, did we?
For what? What film?
My brain just died.
Wow.
There's been too much brain work happen on this episode.
Very much.
The TikTok. I don't think we showed her face.
Died. Oh, TikTok.
We just showed the explosions, didn't we? Or did we show?
Nobody. Yeah, we did. It was just so you
Okay.
were running towards it, and then it exploded, and that was it, basically.
I can't remember if, during the interrogation part, if we actually had pictures of people or not.
No, we showed the pictures of the burning buildings.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, it wasn't the people. We've talked about doing that if we do another crime one, getting fake people's faces.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. Still love the missing posters from Bigfoot. That's great.
I do too.
It's
awesome.
great.
I still have them all too.
They're great.
My
But
favorite thing is Caitlin posting of her holding up the missing. She's like, "I'm right here."
I'm right here, guys. It's fun stuff. We're talking about doing another Bigfoot film, so look out for that. That Bigfoot trailer, will be on an episode at some point. Y'all get to see that. But we're about to watch Deception, which we just did almost a month ago, and we're just gonna react to it, talk about it at the end, and here we go.
We'll give you.
This sucks. No,
This is terrible.
This is awful.
We'll give you our inside view.
Yeah, we've got some things to say.
This is also. Me and Trace talked about it. This was kind of going back to our roots because this is just me and Trace.
Yep, just me.
And we are the only ones that worked on it.
Yep.
So
just me and Dawson. We've did that for a long time. We didn't start getting a lot of people until 2017. So we did it by ourselves for 2-3 years. And then when we got to sophomore, junior year of high school, it really exploded.
Yep.
And then we got out of high school, and then it de-exploded.
Yeah.
It went downwards. So.
Yeah.
So, and then we realized that going back to our roots is the best thing to do. Because it's difficult out here in these streets.
It's the moon. I like the leaves.
I realized that moonshot that we did in the Horrors of the Past is a better moonshot than this. And this camera is a better quality than the other one. And because you can literally see the craters on the moon in the other one. It's like crazy.
Water.
This is trash burning.
Fire. Well, at this point, it's actually sticks.
Oh, okay.
We filmed that shot of the close-up of the fire. So these are actual sticks and whatnot. Every bit else of the fire burning is cardboard.
The
just on fire.
Just boxes.
Boxes and boxes and boxes of cardboard just burning so we can keep the fire going. And this is actually the second thing we filmed. We filmed all the day stuff first, and then we filmed the stuff.
Which I remember filming the end stuff was super confusing for me because I don't know what we were doing for the beginning part. As you smoke on flowers.
Flower.
Which smelled absolutely horrible.
Yeah, fake cigars suck.
Yeah. This is the second time me and Dawson have watched it together because we watched it for the first time when we got done with it. So
there's trays.
Here's me with my spats that are gone.
They're thrown away now. What's funny is when we were editing this, while we were at the house, there was actually a scene that I had to crop at one point because as I was putting in the music, it went to one of the scenes of you, and you could see the lights of the house.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, no. So
I was watching the behind the scenes, and I was working on, like, crap, I hope we cut that out, because I was like, man.
Well, it's only going to get colder, so.
It actually wasn't that bad outside.
No.
Not like it's 80 right now, and it's November.
That's weird. Makes no sense.
No, it does not.
Yep.
Mind if I take a swig? My family got the biggest kick out of me just being like, you got this, you got that, let me have it.
You got this. Can I has?
Also, for a guy who doesn't drink alcohol that much, for me to say, can I have some whiskey? Yeah, funny story about this is, in the bottle is green tea.
Yep.
And I never had green tea before this film. So this is the first the reaction you see me give in this is my first genuine reaction to drinking it, and it was something. I'll say that.
You said,
yeah, that's why I say wow.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
That's some strong stuff. That ain't for everybody.
It'd be funny if you smashed that bottle.
Throw it in the fire.
Ow!
You know,
That would really cause a fire.
stuff about that smoking, it's not supposed to be good for you.
Also, there's no script for this either.
No, it's all made up on the fly.
Yeah.
Yes, you're
I thought of the idea of like
lovely fanatics that say it'll kill you.
we could try
No,
one
I'm not
person
much of a fanatic, but
doing like improv lines, and then we
I
put
just
it
read
into
that those things
AI
will kill
and
you.
see what responses it would give to it, and then the other person can say I was just thinking, I thought of
That
that
might
the other
be
day.
interesting.
That would be an interesting thing to try. Then it would take the whole film in a different direction.
Right. Blurry.
Yeah, this is what happens when you film in the dark
Yeah.
with a fire.
Sometimes it gets blurry.
This was definitely the best fireplace scene we've ever done because we've tried it a handful of times and it's awful.
This one actually worked out really well too because we had the light of the fire and then plus we actually had that light
light,
that
yeah.
stayed on the entire time, which was
Yeah.
awesome.
guy like you.
Yep.
I've been
You look
all around
Amish
this great
almost.
state.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere.
I was one of those. I look like one of those people, those Amish people that got fed up with Kamala Harris and went with the other 100,000 people to vote for Trump, and that's why Pennsylvania got Trump.
I thought it was funny because whenever we were putting on the costumes and stuff, and me and Trace were getting ready, and Trace at one point he was like, "I look like I'm Amish."
Yeah, it's the hat. It made me think of Weird Al Yankovic as an Amish man.
Yeah,
Don't blow that in my face.
I'm a famous outlaw. You might have heard of me.
My mom got like,
No, you're not.
my mom got the biggest kick out of this because I sound nothing like an outlaw, and she was just like laughing at me, going, "Yeah, I'm pretty well known out there, and I don't even sound like an outlaw guy."
Well, ain't that just something?
And there's my drunk self. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Yeah, you get sassy
Yeah,
in a minute.
I'm pretty known well out there. You
My
know,
character is very sassy.
taking out a
Yeah.
lot of guys,
Yeah,
done a lot of bad things.
Do it.
But
probably the most ruthless out of the Western people you've played.
Yeah.
And that's a whole ranking video. Which one is the most ruthless?
Jesse Colt.
Yeah, Jesse Cole is the most ruthless.
It is, ain't it? So then what brings you all the way out here? A peaceful life, huh?
I just noticed you got so frustrated that you ripped the label off of the bottle. Your
Yeah.
your character's like, ugh,
Doubt
I don't like the label.
well, I mean, I can't say that it's all been peaceful.
I think what's kind of cool is like as the situation like intensifies, I just noticed that the fire gets bigger and bigger and brighter.
You know, I saw.
It is
I
funny
saw
though.
over
You did
here,
make
and
that.
I thought,
You made that statement of the fact that it was like this guy is faking, trying to be an outlaw, but does not act at all.
He
like
sounds
an
nervous,
outlaw.
like he
Yeah.
doesn't know what he's doing. And that wasn't on purpose. I just talking like me.
Yeah.
So I mean, because I'm obviously not an outlaw.
And then me, I made myself sound really rugged and very like
Drunk.
very drunk here.
I swear I thought you were gonna fall at any point because you swing yourself around.
Don't play me for somebody that's stupid. I see. all
Now
that
he's got
you
the
have,
confident voice.
and you're gonna give me all that you have.
Star Wars fresh day.
Like a
Star Wars fan.
Hey, I gotta get. People gotta watch us somehow.
No. No. No.
Sassy white girl.
No. No.
No.
And the scene that everybody went, oh.
Oh my gosh.
You know, like I said,
What?
good men like me fall on hard times.
Well, the political message have
Why don't
stopped.
you just help a fellow brother out and give me.
I fell.
My mom, it was funny. I told her, I said, I find that line funny, but she said that she liked it because it seemed like something that he would genuinely do because he's nervous of what he's doing.
And then there's my character that's ready to die.
Being psychotic. Yeah. Put a bullet in my head.
What'd your mom think about this thing?
They just kind of sat there. They were just like, oh.
Are you crazy? Maybe.
I think my grandma went, ugh.
I said do it.
Ain't no love. That's all I think about now when I see that.
I know it took us forever to get that shot.
That was crazy.
So, because we kept moving the camera angle, because every angle we were originally did, you could see the gap of the.
That punch was difficult.
Yeah.
I just wanted a hug. I just noticed you could, for a split second, you could see that camera thing hanging off for a split second. Alright, I think he went to sleep.
He's night night.
If we had the fake blood, you should have just like. That'd been great if you like completely covered my face in fake blood because he punched me that hard. But I wake up with no scars.
This part too was funny. So this was improvised, and Trace was laying there asleep, and I patted him on the chest, and I could feel Trace's body like.
Yeah, I was like, oh gosh, because I wasn't expecting it. I thought I was just gonna lay there. For some reason, I look like I'm wearing a bulletproof vest right there.
You ain't me, bub. You ain't me.
I thought that would have been a cool line to say too.
Fire.
Fire is a character in this film.
Fire is, it's the main character.
It's the main character of this film. Is fire.
And then this awesome location that we haven't filmed at before, and we talked about one day, me and Trace, we got Buffalo Luke's. No, it wasn't even then. It was a different time. Me and you went over there.
Yeah. I thought me, you, and Caitlin went over there.
Yeah, all three of us went over
Yeah.
there just to go look at it. Another part about this is right to the right there, there was a car parked. And as we were getting set up, I like screamed across the
Yeah.
canyon. I was like, "Move! You're in our shot!"
And they left.
They left.
It was funny because I was at Taco
So
Bell,
cool.
which is like over the bushes, and I was standing in the parking lot, and you could see where we filmed that, and I was like, it's funny because it's right over there, and it's like got the big bushes. But yeah, there's like a whole bunch of buildings behind those bushes, and you can't see them at all.
Can't see anything. There's a Walmart, a movie theater. There's all the thing. There's a hotel
The
there
whole
now.
city.
Good morning.
I must be a miraculous healer because you punched the crap out of me, and I was fine.
Yeah.
I don't bruise very easily, I guess.
Where am I?
I've got a headache.
Yeah, he's gonna feel like he's hungover.
I like how you can see the mountains and everything in
Mhm.
the background. It's so cool. Hey.
Oh no. He's not drunk anymore.
Nope.
I brought you out here to Canyon's Edge.
AI.
Take days
Yep,
before somebody
that was
finds
an
a
AI
body.
thing. We like using it. Honestly, to get a name for that, I should have just took a picture of the canyon. And been like,
They
here.
do. They'll probably be half-eaten.
Dang.
Nobody will
The
find
behind the scenes. I can't say
Yeah,
that.
yeah. You're like, nope, I need to say that line again.
I didn't do anything wrong. I'm trying to save my family.
We have cars back then. There's tracks.
I noticed that when we were watching it, and I was like, "Oh."
There's
Should've thought of
tracks.
that before he posted me, huh?
It's okay. It's just really big wagons with tires.
What's your actual name?
He's an excuse to say my name.
My name is Silas Granger, sir.
I just thought it was funny for that other idea that you told me about, that it gave me Silas again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're not doing that again.
Appears that your luck has finally run out.
Whoa, whoa.
No. I was not
No,
aware that
stop.
you were Jesse Colt.
Well,
Well, it's too late now.
your ignorance is going to be the death of you.
I love that line.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
I didn't do anything. I'll do whatever you want.
Became the tagline
All right?
for the
I'll
film.
Run. It won't even matter. It's not like I even saw
Ignorance
you.
is bliss.
Yep. Ignorance will be the death of you.
Yeah, let me help you up here. Psych!
I'm a nice guy!
Love
Not
this shot too.
this guy. Couldn't have picked a better day to do it, too.
Saw
I
my
love how you can
face.
hear the cocking of the guns.
Mhm.
It's- God, I love
Yeah,
it.
this camera picks up a lot of noise. So
And then I love the green screen with the bullet and the blood.
yeah.
Straight to
Right in the eye.
I did have it on your forehead, but it looked weird at first, so
Oh.
I actually moved it down to your eye. and
Yeah, let's make it more brutal.
It looked perfect.
I just noticed the camera was trying to focus. But you can see that cell tower in the background. I just noticed that. It's
Oh
going
yeah.
off. That's his beacon point, Red Dead Redemption. He's going over there.
Such a such a cool shot.
You have Dawson walking for like a minute and a half. Yeah. Yeah.
Meet Jesse Colt.
Jesse Colt. AI generated name. And Silas Granger was also an AI generated name.
The granddad to Hermione Granger.
Yes. This really long descendant. Alright. I mean, technically, I would say, like, oh, it's the first time we've done, like, AI-generated names for stuff, but if you think about it, like, we've generated stuff on computers before, and that's technically the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just no different. Yeah, this is probably the quickest to edit ever.
You can still see me over there.
Yep, just in the F right there.
I walked a long way.
You did. It was a minute and a half, I remember it. I did my best to stand completely still. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, Deception, ladies and gentlemen. So that was Deception, and we watched it for the second time together now. Yeah, we actually have had this idea for a film. I have it in my notes for quite some time. Hopefully my phone won't die while looking it up. Since 2 years ago in April, we talked about doing this idea, and it was an idea that Dawson told me about, which is based off of Red Dead Redemption 2. But the original idea was supposed to be me and Ian as the bad guys, and Dawson was still going to be that Jesse Colt character, except we had different character names for that back then. But then it completely changed to what it is now. And we also didn't have a title back then either. We literally came up with the title for the film like
The day
several hours before we filmed the end of the film. And that was also generated as well.
Yep.
But yeah, we like I said, the like that would be a whole episode in itself, ranking the most ruthless Western characters. Because there's Glenn, and then there's Jay, and then there's Jesse. I would probably say Jesse. It would go in reverse order, pretty much. Jesse so far is the most ruthless one.
That's the thing is like, so Jay, you had.
He's second for one because he was in the Civil War, and he was, he's killed a lot of people.
And this thing is like he's got his own thing, and he has his moments or whatnot, but he was doing what he did because people were trying to take his land. Yeah. And trying to do all this other stuff.
And being in the war doesn't help.
No.
At all either.
And of course losing his family.
That too, yeah.
So he was just protecting his land and protecting his family.
Yeah.
And then Glenn, well, his wife died, so he was just trying to take revenge on them.
Well, his family died. Yeah.
Taking revenge off of his
He's got
family.
the most messed up backstory out of all of them.
His family died. This guy just doesn't care.
No, he just kills whatever.
You saw my face. I like it.
Yeah,
shoot him in the head because he saw his face. Like,
he is definitely an outlaw. You can tell. That was the thing too. Is in the original we didn't have the twist like that. And we had the twist in this one where you think it's me and then it's not. It's Dawson's character. And in the original it wasn't like that. It was just going to be a regular campfire thing.
And that was the other thing. Is like in the original one you had this kind of like pull of like good and bad, kind of like with the other westerns one. This one, it's kind of like they're both bad. So it's kind of.
It's funny because I don't know why this popped in my head, but for some reason you can look at Brothers, as a western in a way because
around the same time period.
Like because for some reason that popped in my head and I don't know why, but I was you were saying good and bad and I thought of that film and I was like in a way that. Technically, not really, but technically it could be a western because the Castle brothers could have been cowboys. I don't know.
You don't know.
They were in the Confederate Army. We'll never know. They're dead.
They're
so
dead
I mean,
now.
Who knows? We might do. That would be a cool little.
We haven't reacted to that film yet, have we?
We have.
We have.
Yeah, I think so. We've reacted to that and talked about that probably sometime last year, I guess. But we need to definitely keep up with the ones that we have and have not done. Or watched. That'd be a cool little sequel idea. To have Webb be in the sequel, and then we add new characters to see like, man, is Webb still a good guy?
Yeah.
And then he kills more people.
I want to get printed out posters of all the westerns and have them hanged up.
Oh yeah, the Western trilogy of ours with Revenge. Home and Deception.
And we do plan on doing more westerns because apparently y'all really like it. So.
Yeah, it's weird because
they're easy to do.
They are very easy. It's funny because with the crime ones that we've done, those have been easy to do, especially like TikTok, which is I want to do more like that also. I mean, really, if you honestly, we talk about how westerns are really easy to do, and like crime stuff's really if you put your mind to it, any of them can be really easy to do. And like The Room, which is a horror film, was so easy to do, and I would love to do another one of those also. And like like I said, all the crime ones, even Who Took Sarah was pretty easy to do. We just filmed a lot for it, but it was just really me and Dawson for like like 3/4 of the movie. Really, it was just me and Dawson.
I will say, because you mentioned The Room, The Room was easy. It was just filming it was difficult.
Yeah.
Because of like the different like dialogues that me and Trace had to play with to make it kind of make sense in a way. Gosh, the freaking mirror scene.
Oh yeah, that took a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
I think I say like doing a film like that is easy because we filmed in one place the whole time, and that's usually films like that work if you have like a really really good idea for it. And The Room was one of those, and I would like to do a lot more of that, or crime, or western, or whatever. If something works that is just easy for 2 or 3 of us to do, then we usually go for that. If you watch the Hope Burns Bright, that was a lot of locations, but it was not very hard to do.
No.
Yeah, we just made ourselves laugh a little bit. That's all we did. So,
that was definitely a funny one.
That was
I know
something.
we also talked about, actually we talked about it the day of filming this, is basically using kind of the same storyline in a way, but instead of it being like someone posing as someone else, it'd just be like somebody like sitting there and someone coming up and talking. It'd be just kind of like a little brawl, westerny type thing, but we were going to do it like a Star Wars thing. And we even talked about it the day of filming. We were like, well, we could, if we wanted to make this like a Star Wars thing, and then we kept with the Western thing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we kept with the Western thing.
Yeah.
It came out
Well,
really good.
you still could do a Star Wars thing, but you would have to make it drastically different than that one.
Bringing Jasper back.
The sequel.
Yeah.
Maverick This is where Maverick may come back. We don't know if he's dead. We still don't know if he's
You don't
dead.
know.
We don't know. But
He could be frozen in carbonite.
he could be.
He just got shot. In the
Yeah,
shoulder.
he could be given the Han treatment, and that'd be funny in the third one. He has to go back and like unfreeze him or something like that. But yeah, so that could be a sequel to the Jasper trilogy. Is something to do with the campfire. I mean, who knows? You know, anything is possible with the right amount of things that you have and all that jazz.
Caitlin's character gets kidnapped.
There's a motive right there, yeah, because y'all were
You play like the
lovers.
You could play the twin to the other one.
Yeah.
And you kidnapped her with like your gang of people. It's just
Wow. Our family's such a great people. Then Caitlin would have to do my makeup a lot different than Maverick's, because Maverick.
put you in a wig.
Well, if they're twins, then they would have to. I don't think my thing is like, because she gave me the little spikes on the thing, and like the goggles like changed the entire look up, but I look just like him pretty much. If I was really committed, I'd shave my facial hair, but I ain't gonna do that. So, but yeah, we might do that. We're talking about stuff live and in color.
Yes.
Yeah, we're talking about it right here and now. But that's going to do it here for us. Very interesting episode today. We haven't done an episode like this in quite some time. We're all so used to, me and Dawson are so used to sitting down, watching Kuga, and doing some game stuff. Look out in the next episode. We are going to be ranking we're going to be doing a similar thing that we did with the Star Wars one, which a lot of you liked on TikTok. Y'all loved the Star Wars ranking. So we're going to do another one, because we talked about it in the last episode. We're going to be ranking our top 10 best characters in Power Rangers. I've already got my list. It was very hard. And this doesn't mean Ranger. It means any character in Power Rangers. Period. This doesn't mean Rangers or anything specific. It's going to be any character you want.
Yeah, I'll have to.
So you better get prepared for that, because
I'll have to make my list.
we're gonna do the point system for that as well, and then we'll have our definitive list of our favorite Power Rangers character. And like we said, we might do more stuff. We might do best characters in Lord of the Rings. We might do best Lord of the Rings stuff, best Hunger Games characters, stuff like that. We might just do different lists and stuff based off of whatever. Whatever. We'll figure it out. But look out for that, and we're also going to be watching more episodes of Kuga.
Yep.
Because we're getting pretty close to the end. We are probably about 20 or so away. Last time I think we were at 20. We just got to 30, episode 30. So we're getting really close to the end. I'm going to be very surprised when we get to the very end, because it's going to be next year, guys. It ain't going to be this year, I'll tell you that right now. But if you like this video, leave a like down below. Comment what type of stuff that you want us to do next. Please don't comment that we look dumb or all that crap, because that that just gets not repetitive at all. If you know who you are, then you know who you are.
He doesn't even watch the video. He probably just comments and he just goes on with his
copy
life.
and paste. It is what it is. There's a lot of people out there. Yeah, it's just a lot of. We've also been getting hate comments on TikTok too.
Yeah, it's
so
okay.
But if you haven't already, go follow us on TikTok. We post clips of the show, and potentially we'll be posting music videos, stuff from films and all that junk, and edits if me and Dawson make any. We'll post them on there.
Yes.
And the most important thing you can do right now is to subscribe to the Whether News Happens or Not channel. We have, last time I checked, 743 subscribers. So we're still on the road to 800 subscribers. Also, go follow David on all of the stuff that he said earlier. And show some love in the comments, please, because after recently, all we've got is hate at this point.
Yeah.
So, it would be very appreciative if you subscribe to the channel right now. More content of the show, films, everything will be coming out soon. We also will be doing an end-of-the-year video next month, so look out for that. We'll be talking about all the stuff that we did this year, which has flown by super fast. Very fast. But my name is Trey Sparks.
My name is Dawson Mullins.
We'll see you guys in the next episode of the Weather News Happens or Not show. Bye-bye.
Peace.